Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Ingo Schulmeyer. He is a holistic health coach, and we will talk to him about holistic natural health in our life, how to achieve that. Welcome to the show, Ingo.
Good morning. Thanks for the invitation. Glad to be here.
Thank you. You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this online format, digital format. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are talking about. We'll be talking about holistic natural health and how we can live a holistic natural health life. My first question to you, Ingo, is to understand something else right now. Is that we'll talk about the natural part of it. That you say that you went to Mexico and for an adventure, and that changed your life. Now you live in Mexico, if I understand. What is it, right? What is it that happens in Mexico, or one person leaves one place and goes to another? A lot of people from Mexico, they live there, they have their own problems. Then they go to some other place, they will find their own, what you call, understanding of life better. Is it about a different place that brings us to peace with ourselves, or is it about something else? Help us understand what you found in Mexico, what you did not find elsewhere.
Well, I mean, that's a very good question. I think, first of all, I think it's not a good idea if you're not happy in one place, or if you're not happy with yourself to run away to other places. But for me, it's more like, I was always a traveler and an adventurer, so I lived in different places. And I was also traveling, for example, in India for 6 months, and I met my wife there long time ago, like 2005. I met my wife there. She's from Israel, so we were in India, we were in Nepal, we lived in Germany, we lived in Israel, and now we're in Mexico. So we're always looking for something new and new adventures. And I think, right now I love Mexico. We had when I was working before, I'm an engineer, so I was working in a big company in Israel before we moved to Mexico. And during the pandemic, I was not happy with my job anymore, because it was like it changed a lot from traveling to being mainly Zoom meetings and sitting all day in front of the computer screen. So I didn't enjoy it anymore, and also with our kids, with our family, we were not happy with the education anymore. And then we said, okay, let's go for traveling. I think also for children, I think they can probably learn more if they're traveling and learn new cultures than anything they can learn in school, right? So life is the best teacher. And yes, 2 years ago almost, we left Mexico, and we traveled like almost 1 year around. Now we've found a place here, and we found a nice school here. The kids are going to school, and we're happy here. So now we're staying here. It doesn't mean that there are other places there that are better or worse than here, right? But right now we enjoy here and see what life brings. So we're not. It doesn't mean we will stay forever here, but adventure, right?
Right. What is it that brings peace in our life? Some people find peace with nature. Some people, and we are that sort of a social animal. Perhaps we are more aligned with nature. It's just that we have deviated from that. That is a very natural. But in terms of that, is nature about everything about us, that we don't find peace elsewhere? We go to nature, we understand ourselves better. What is it that we want? And that is where my understanding from you, I want for the audience, is that you talk about living a holistic, natural health life, and also to understand the power of nature. That will perhaps make us much more, aligned with ourselves. Help us understand this thing. What do we want as individuals, as human beings? And is it that city life is actually a big deviation from what we have been born as, and that we are always, that is why we try to run away from there?
Yeah, again, a very good question, and I think I also made a transformation in this terms over my last 20 years, maybe. And I was always a person very connected to nature, and I love to be in nature. I love running, I love hiking in the forest. I just like to be outside with the family or alone. I can be always in the nature. But I think if you're asking what we need for happiness, I think that's a little bit different for different people. But I think the true happiness can be found only in ourselves, right? So, and that's something I did more and more over the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, looking deep inside in our inner beliefs and in our spirituality. And this is something we need to find out to also connect better with others, because if we understand ourselves, we can also understand the rest of the world, or the nature, or the universe, or God, if you want to call it like that. And I think it's these connections that we need, and that first the connection with ourselves inside, that we're secure or with ourselves, but then also with the nature. And when I'm talking about a holistic natural lifestyle, it has different aspects to it, right? Because it's not only the food we're eating, which is, of course, I think it's much better to eat as much as possible organic and natural foods that are very, very close to the source. Let's say fresh vegetables, fresh can be meat for meat eaters, but it need to be as unprocessed as possible, right? I think the main problems with the nutrition are coming with the mass production, and with the putting a lot of other substances in the food that are not really supposed to be there. So I think our body is used to natural food, and I think that's the most healthy to us. But it's not only the food; it's also like physical health, like doing exercises, connecting with nature, grounding with nature, and also the mental health, of course. We need to have a positive mindset. We need to be in alignment with ourselves. So that's basically the concept of holistic health, right? Body, it's the mind, but it's also the spirit. And I think we need to align all the three of them to have a healthy and a happy life.
Right, right. So, especially for people who are in urban lifestyle, or in whatever situation they are in, how can they adopt this holistic natural health lifestyle into the present life that they have? Not everyone will be able to leave their job and go to another place. You were an accomplished person, director level in semiconductor industry, and you were able to move out of that situation, and
Mhm.
but everyone cannot. They have their own compulsions, whether real or they have created it for themselves. So how do they still get started with this and get as close to nature within the present lifestyle that they have?
Yeah, I think first of all, you don't need to change everything at one time, right? For me, it was quite radical change. I quit my job, I sold my house, and I moved to another country with my family, which was also a risk, because I mean, if you're alone, it's one thing, but with a family, it's even
Absolutely.
a bigger decision, right? So, but I mean, yeah, you need to change. I mean, my label or my brand is also called the small reset, right? And I think you can change every day a little bit. You don't need to change everything at once. Like if you change small habits, like for example, you say, okay, it's today, instead of eating the food from the street or from McDonald's, I will cook, or I will buy some vegetables or some fruits and eat this. And or if you change your habit in going to nature, like on weekend, I will go out, I have to walk in the nature, I will go to the beach, or I will walk in the mountains wherever you live, or I will go to the park if you live in a city. And also in the park, you have this connection to nature, right? And this is something you can find anywhere. And it's the small changes. I mean, if you do every day like a small change, after 1 year you will have a tremendously better life. So it's not that you have to throw away everything. And I think, yeah, it depends on each person's life situation, absolutely correct. I think everybody has an opportunity to make small improvements to their life.
Right, right. You talk about, understanding the power of nature and to benefit from it. How do I understand the power of nature? People generally think, about the under power of nature is in the sense of that if there is heavy rainfall, then you understand you are playing with nature, and that's why you are bearing the negative impact of that. But nature is very benevolent and it takes care of you. But generally, we don't tend to look it towards it like that. Though that's the actual uh, truth about nature. And so, how do we look at nature as a friend and get the maximum benefit that nature actually wants to give to us, but we just are moving away from, away from it? How do we look at it then?
Yeah, I think that is one of the problem of our modern times, right? Because we're, as you say, we're losing the connection with nature. We trust more and more in doctors, or in modern medicine, in pharmacy. But actually, I mean, nature is the most powerful, right? It has the abilities from millions and millions of years that formed this unique ecosystem that we have today, and it was improved, and it's not made to, let's say, it's not made to how. I mean, if you're talking about disasters of heavy rainfall, it sounds a little like it's anything negative, but it's, you don't have to see it negative, right? It's more a natural behavior. Instead of looking at the nature as something else, as something separated from you, it's a part of you, right? You just need to learn how to deal with nature's things. I mean, there's the saying, right? If there's the wind is blowing, I mean, you can build a wall or you can build a windmill, right? So it's our own decision what we are doing with the powers of nature. And I think especially for health, there are many solutions, and also many cultures, also in India, for example, Ayurveda, or in the Mexican culture, or in the Chinese culture. There are many cultures that are thousands of years old that use this power of natural healing methods, like with herbs from the nature. And in this sciences, or in these philosophies, they really focus on trying to eliminate the root cause of your disease. Let's say you have a disease or a problem in your body. They're focusing on the root cause. And in contrast to that, I mean, today we're more looking for the quick fix, right? I mean, if I have a headache, I take a pill. If I have a whatever stomach problem, I go to the doctor and they give me some antibiotics or something like that, which helps with the symptoms, but it doesn't really address the root cause. And this is something we're, in the modern society, we're losing a little bit today.
Right, right, Ingo. In fact, you see, you are a holistic health coach. So, what do generally your clients come to you for? Is it that they want to change about how they are looking at their overall health? Can't they do it themselves, or is it that there is a much more deeper need of them? Help us understand it through the experiences of your client, your own experience with your client.
Yeah, I think usually most of the people, they don't know what their problem is, right? So they have a problem. It can be a health problem, or they are just not happy, or don't feel fulfilled, or they have problems with achieving their goals, but they don't understand where's the root cause. And so, I mean, usually many people just come when when they already have some problem that they don't find another solution. They're looking for different other methods, but they didn't really help them, and then they're looking in more holistic health approaches. And then it depends. I mean, the method depends. It's always in coaching. Usually, I mean, in what we call transformational coaching, it's usually like that. I mean, each client or each person has the solution in him or herself. Right? It's not that we provide now a blueprint, like you have to live like this and that. Usually, you will find the solution for your problem you'll find in yourself. And that's something you need to help the people with, like to find where's the problem coming from. I mean, also if there's like chronic disease or something, usually there's a root cause. It can be emotional, or it can be some trauma from the childhood or from the past, but they're not aware of this, right? So, and this is something I try to help to find them out.
Right, right. They do not understand the root cause of problem. I guess this is a big problem. But somewhere, what do you think is the root cause of our problem? Not understanding nature, not understanding ourselves, or is it a lot of technology in our lives? We were already under a lot of, moving away from the things that we should have been connected with. And with the coming of more of social media, now there is this artificial intelligence coming into our lives. We seem to be so connected to everything, and now we talk of more connected to much more gadgets. Maybe someday some chip will be integrated into our heads. Is that the actual problem in today's time, that we are not getting to actually connect with ourselves? You know the tech of things well, because you have been into the semiconductor industry. You know all these things well. Help us, and now that you are a transformational and health and life coach, you know about both sides of the story. Help us understand, so that we, as the audience who is also in rural areas, in bigger cities, they can also understand and find the right life for themselves.
Yeah. I, First of all, I think technology is not the root cause or the problem. And as an engineer, I also believe in technology. I believe that it brings progress. But at the same time, I don't think it makes things different, and it will make some things easier, but other things it will make also more complicated, right? I mean, the more technology we have, the more new problems we create, right? We need to deal with the situation. And today, I think it's the problem that these innovation cycles are moving faster and faster, especially now when you're talking about artificial intelligence. I mean, we're reinventing ourselves so quickly. I mean, what is the truth or what is correct today, in 1 year it will be something completely different, right? And it's moving faster and faster. And I think for humans, the problem is to adapt to these changes. And we have all this information, right? We don't have a lack of information. We can get information from anywhere, and it's available all over. But I think we're just overwhelmed with that. So I think the key to going back is, and again, I'm not against technology. I think it helps in many aspects our lives. I think the key we need to understand is to become more present and to connect more with ourselves and to be more sure in ourselves. And if we do that, we can use the technology in a positive way. But I think there's what we're lacking. I mean, we're constantly connected. There's no minute in the day where we don't look on our cell phones, right? So it's a high dependence for many people on the technology. And I think there is a little bit of problem. They don't look inside themselves to understand them. They solely depend on the technology, and I think there it's getting difficult.
Right, Ingo. Or is it that problem? See, you call yourself a free spirit. So you look at freedom in a different manner. In that sense, a lot of people are not free because they are bound in some chain or the other. That free spirit is somewhere changed to whatever you can say, the rat race, to achieve more, to learn, get more money and live a life, maybe a better quality of wine, better car, whatever they want to. Is it that reason that, because we are naturally supposed to be free spirits, our society we have created in such a manner that we have unnecessarily created our lives into different chains? How can we become a better, not in the same spirit that you have achieved, but something closer to that? How can we still be within the society and still be free to as much extent as possible? Is there a way for that?
Yeah, I think there is a way for everybody. Right? Yeah, And I don't think it's my way, because my way is working for me, right? So it's that's what I did. And when I say free spirit, it's also something that came new to me, because as you're saying, I was also many years in this cycle, and I had my goals. I wanted to climb the corporate ladder and become more successful and have a house and have a car and have this and that, and all these goals we set to ourselves. But at one point in time, especially when I started more on the spiritual side and to look more in myself and did meditation, I understand that it's maybe not my real, or that my goals are important, but they maybe not align 100% with my inner values, or with my inner beliefs. And usually, many of these values they're not our values, right? They're the values that society or families expect from us, right? You need to be successful in order to be like a good society member. So these are external goals and external values. It's not something you set for yourself. And yeah, I think the best is really to understand oneself and to relax, to be present, and to look what you really want. And if it's to have a career and to be like CEO of a company, that's great. Then it's not a wrong way, but it need to be aligned with your inner beliefs, and that's something that many people, they don't dig so deep in themselves to understand that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not everyone can have the courage to go within and find themselves out. Perhaps that is where the real answer is. That is where you can actually find the free spirit. That is where you can actually break those chains.
Yeah.
May be that as it may, people will find it for themselves as they go on in their life. But for those who want to learn more from you about all this, and all this that is so much achievable, that is possible, how can they do so? And also those who want to be your client, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So they can either follow me on Twitter, or not, it's called X. So I have a Twitter account, it's called The Small Reset. I have also a website with the same name where they can sign up for a weekly newsletter. And on this website, they can also book with free half-an-hour consultation calls for getting to know each other, to see if there's a fit, or just to discuss. There's the possibility to book a free call. It's absolutely free, and it's just to learn a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure. Have an awesome